Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at the clarity of a situation that you're currently in or currently asking about. So first we're going to look at your perspective on the situation and what the situation is, and then we're going to reveal the truth of that situation and see how it's really going to play out. We'll get some advice as well. Hello, this is Editing Hannah. So sorry if things look different from just a moment ago. Anyway, I forgot to mention in all of the piles, I offer personal readings, I offer personal coaching sessions. If you would like to partake in one or both of those things, I will link my Instagram and my website in the description below. But yeah, that's all I wanted you to know. If you want to dive a little deeper, get a little bit more personal, I can do that for you. And so yeah, back to the choosing of the piles. Thank you so much. But we have 4 piles to choose from, and I decided to have little ducks instead of crystals today. So choose a duck that resonates, or maybe a particular pile number will resonate with you. But to start, we have pile number 1 with this little purple duck. Pile number 2 has a little green duck. Pile 3 has a blue duck. And pile number 4 has this white clear duck. All right, so take a moment, connect with your intuition, take a deep breath, and see which pile most resonates with you. If you want to kind of ask about or, have the situation in mind that you're asking about, feel free to do that as well. And we'll go ahead and get started with pile 1. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this little pink purpley duck, then this reading is for you. Today we're going to be using 2 different tarot decks, and so the first one that I'm going to use is going to tell us your perception of the situation and your feelings about it currently. So if this first part doesn't really resonate, then this may not be your pile, but you could be asking about more than one. And then we are going to use a different tarot deck to get clarity and see the truth of the situation. And I will be shuffling all of these on camera today, and I will also be taking reversals. So let's get into it. So pile 1, how are you perceiving or understanding the current situation? What is pile 1's perception of the situation they're asking about? Okay, the 10 of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, okay. Four of Wands. Ooh, okay. The 10 of Cups and the Moon. I'm gonna have to like overlap some of these. Okay, wow. Lovely. Okay, I did kind of get the sense that maybe some of you are asking about a relationship when I first started shuffling with the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups here. Maybe that is the case for some of you. And I feel like some of you just kind of want confirmation that things are going well. Because overall, this is very positive. Like I said, I'm gonna be taking reversals, but no reversals have popped out yet, so it doesn't feel like there's any blockages or anything. You know, with the moon here, there's definitely this feeling of illusion, there's this feeling of confusion. And again, that's why I said maybe you're just wanting to like really get clarity on the situation and like confirm these feelings. Because maybe some of you with the moon, you know, all of this, like, there's so much stability here. We've got 2 10s, the Queen of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands. Like, there's so much stability that you're like, when is the other shoe gonna drop? That's kind of the vibe I get with the moon. And again, just the sense that you're seeking confirmation, or again, maybe you're waiting to hear like when something's gonna shift and go wrong. But I mean, I don't know that that's the case. I mean, we'll get into it, but with this overall like beginning energy, there's a lot of positivity here. There's a lot of emotional and material fulfillment. Like I said, I feel like a lot of you are perhaps asking about a relationship, and maybe some of you are in like the honeymoon phase where things are like, yes, I found my person, and like things again are very stable. Things are kind of celebratory. You know, the 4 of Wands can talk about like literal marriage, but again, kind of the honeymoon celebration phase. And then the moon over here is like, what are the red flags? What red flags am I missing? Where are they? Like, this is too good to be true. You know, this moon is really your own subconscious, your own past wounds perhaps coming forward and needing to be healed. But we'll get deeper into, again, the reality of what's happening. And you know, this moon, it could be, you know, I'm always drawn to like the 2 wolves. There could be 2 wolves inside of you right now that are kind of battling it out. Or, you know, there's that self-doubt versus self-confidence, and being reassured in what's actually happening right now. And I'm also noticing all except the Queen of Pentacles have pairs in them. There's 2 people here, 2 people here, and they're all like embracing. You know, we even have 2 wolves here, right? And so again, I really get the sense that this is perhaps a relationship that feels like it's too good to be true. And even this moon, you know, it may not even be like the other person's red flags. It could also be just, when are my shadows gonna appear? Like, are they gonna stick with me through the messiness, through the healing? It's this question of, when am I gonna screw things up? And you know, we've all been there, unfortunately. But like, I know this is, you know, the first half of this reading, but I really do feel like this is a pretty accurate perception. It's just this little moon energy coming through that is kind of increasing the self-doubt, increasing the fear. And again, it could be just like this feeling of, am I dreaming? You know, with this kind of representing like Pisces and Cancer energy. There's this fantasy like quality to it of, are are things real? Like, is this real or am I dreaming? And so I just feel like if you're here, if this is resonating, then you're really just seeking confirmation that all is well and good as it appears. And perhaps, you know, reassurance that whoever this person is, because I do, again, I think this is probably about a relationship for a lot of you, but whoever this person is, will they stick with me through all the ups and downs? Will they stick with me through my messy emotions and kind of the less seen, less desirable parts of myself, you know, in quotes, of course, because if they, you know, if it is real, then they will, you know, they'll love all parts of you. I feel like this is so straightforward, honestly. This might end up being a little bit shorter reading, but we'll see. So again, if this is resonating, as far as like a relationship, things feeling really good, really solid, but there's that little question in the back of your mind, of kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, of looking for reassurance to make sure that, you know, this isn't all a dream, then you found your pile. So I'm gonna pull out the other deck and we're gonna look at the truth of the situation. And again, I feel like it is good, you know. I feel like you are pretty accurate in your perception. It's just that little ego part of you, that little self-doubting part of you that has brought you here, is making you question. But all right, well, let's see if we can give pile one some reassurance. Let's see. Okay, the 7 of Wands. Maybe other people are fueling this doubt. Maybe you feel like you kind of have to defend and protect this energy, defend and protect this relationship. Yeah, maybe it's not all within, maybe it is some external factors as well that are making you feel this way. Whoa. Oh my god, the moon again. Okay. So, yes, that part is persistent. I always love doing 2 different tarot decks because I want to see if any of the same cards come out. So, we've got one of the same cards. Let's see what else we get here. The 3 of Stars, beautiful. And 2 more, please. The Fool. What is the reality? Clarity on this situation for pile 1, please. Oh, the Ace of Moons. We love to see it. Okay, I want to make sure everybody's in frame here for the most part. I have really got to get a bigger desk. It's fine. Okay, wow, this is so lovely, you guys. So yes, here is your reassurance. It is, yeah, you know, this moon energy here, the repeating moon especially, makes me think that, yeah, some of this will be illuminated. Some of the parts that, you know, you're trying to keep guarded with the 7 of Wands, they'll come to light. And they won't be as big of an issue as you think they will be. It could definitely bring up a lot of emotions, but with the Three of Stars here, you know, it makes me think of collaboration, of working together to get through any of these issues that are brought up. Any healing will be kind of mutual. It's like you're growing together. And it's definitely like, you know, this card talks about, you know, bringing certain skills and resources and knowledge to the table and allowing others to, you know, bring in their skills as well. And so it's like you both each have like something the other person needs and you work really well together. But I think it's a matter of allowing yourself to let down your guard. You know, like I said, I do think the Seven of Wands maybe is a little bit about external influence and, you know, people challenging this relationship. But I do also think a lot of it is just you trying to protect yourself and protect the other person, you know, because there are ways in which we can unintentionally hurt our partners. And, you know, unfortunately that does happen sometimes, but I just heard, so there's another pair here, right? There's two hands showing these crystals. I just heard, I'll show you mine if you show me yours, which is a little bit silly, but I kind of love it. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, I see you. Like, things are being illuminated and I see you, and I know that, you know, we will work together well, we will care for each other, and, you know, you're not alone. Like, I've got, you know, this other person's like, I've got shit to deal with too. Like, I'm not perfect. Like, look at this, you know? And so I think that's really so beautiful. But again, with this Three of Stars, you know, you each have strengths as well. You know, you're worried about like the deficits, quote unquote. You're worried about the underlying, the shadow, the pain, the wounds, but you know, you both have the ability to focus on and bring your strengths to the table in a way that will really benefit you both, and like I said, kind of help you mutually grow. Another thought that's coming to mind, because there is a third hand here, is that maybe a professional will come in and kind of help you work through any of this stuff, like a therapist, a mentor, even a friend. You know, if you know there's somebody else who's maybe gone through something similar and you're just kind of chatting about what it's like to be in a serious, devoted relationship in a way that is vulnerable, because maybe that's something new to you and it feels really scary and it feels unsafe at first, which is, you know, perhaps why you're feeling so guarded, why you're feeling so shut down or doubtful. But you know, there's plenty of strengths, plenty of resources out there for you guys as well, if that resonates with you. But with the Fool and the Ace of Moons here, I just, listen, it's the Ace of Moons and not like the Two of Moons. That's cups in this deck, by the way. I don't know if I said that. But these two cards, it's like this is you allowing yourself, and, you know, the other person allowing themselves. You know, I got the image of like falling deeper in love, you know, and that's just allowing your heart to open, allowing this person to like see you fully, allowing the both of you to trust one another fully, and really take that leap into something loving and compassionate and nurturing, and yeah, falling deeper, falling harder, and knowing that things will be fulfilling, knowing that things are fulfilling. Like I said, I feel like you have the correct or an accurate perception of what's going on. It's just, you know, this fear of what's wrong, what's happening next, where are the red flags, like it's too good to be true. But like this, listen, I don't love to like be so definitive all the time, but like this very well could be like your person. Like, and if not, if it's not like your lifelong person, it's at least a person that will help you open your heart, and it will have longevity, however long it is. But this is an important person, and they're helping you, and you're helping them to find that faith, to be able to trust and love again, and really learn what it means to love another person and love yourself. And not only that, but love all parts of yourself, love all parts of this other person. Like, you're really allowing yourself to be vulnerable and express your emotions in a way that feels safe, because you are safe. You know, the fool is not leaping blindly. They're not leaping into an abyss. You know, they will be caught, or they will land safely. And so you're really allowing yourself to open your heart and embrace vulnerability. It can be scary to feel so much overwhelming love. And you know, that doesn't mean that this relationship and that other relationships won't need some work, you know, won't have their challenges, but all relationships do. It's just, are you able to confront those challenges from a place of love? And I really think you will be. I mean, we had the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups at the start. You know, you view this as something solid, as something sustainable, and it is. You know, we've got the Ace of Cups and the 10 of Cups. Like, this is a whole beautiful journey. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to really feel it. And, you know, that might even come with, like I said at the beginning, that fear of, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Oh God, what if I lose this person? You know, almost that like anticipatory grief, I think is what it's called. But I mean, right now you're being called to open yourself up, to let yourself love with your whole self, your whole heart, and let your whole self be loved by this person, and to just enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride, just enjoy the new journey, just stay present in love. And I'm getting emotional. I'm really happy for you guys. This is really beautiful. So, you know, work on letting your guard down. Don't be afraid to show these kind of hidden parts of yourself to this person, and take that leap of faith, because you guys will catch each other. It's like I just got the image of, you know, this person is by themselves, but you know, it's like when you go skydiving for the first time, you never go alone. Like, you always have an instructor strapped to your back. So it's like you guys are like tandem jumping off this cliff, and you know, you've got your parachute, you'll be fine. So that's really, really exciting. And I can even hear you guys. You're like, what if my parachute breaks? What if my parachute doesn't open? It's like, y'all, I'm sorry, but like, this is the real deal. This is the real deal. And you just need to accept it and open your heart and let yourself love and be loved. I hate to break it to you, but let's get a couple oracle cards for some final advice for you. Let's see what else. How to handle this situation, how to stay open to love, how to break through the fear. Spirit, what advice do you have for pile 1 in this situation? We have clear. May you see things as they are. Yes. Wow, that's so spot on. I love it. Yeah. I mean, your perception is correct. Like, we had the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, the 4 of Wands, like, just all this beautiful energy, and then, you know, the moon lingering over there. That's like, are things this clear? Is this real? Yes. Yes, they are. It is real. So trust that clarity is coming to you as well. Let's get a couple more for pile 1, please, Spirit. What advice do you have for pile 1 in this situation? We have begin. May you start as if you have already begun. Take that leap of faith, baby. Do it. Jump in. And I actually want to read this quick little blessing snippet from the guidebook. This is the Sea Soul Journeys Oracle. So blessings, may you take the next step as if it had already been taken. May a deep breath move you forward. May your fears evaporate as the sun rises. The sun is rising. It's rising, and it's beautiful. And it's time for you to just accept it and lean into this. Lean into this new beginning and let your fears evaporate. You know, let go and let God, as they say. But let's get one more. Whoa. Okay, we got 2 more. Courageous. May each breaking wave build your courage. Yep. And accept. May you receive what is as it comes. Yeah. It's time for you to accept what is. It's time for you to accept the reality of the situation. It's time for you to make peace with where you're at and what's happening, and allow it to happen. Surrender and let this love and compassion fuel your courage. You know, it's feel the fear and do it anyway sort of energy. So it's time. It's time to let yourself love and be loved, like I said. Let yourself take that leap of faith and have courage, even if you don't know what's next. Just, like I said, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey, enjoy this person and, you know, the love that you share. But pile 1, I think that's all the messages I have for you. I hope this resonated. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope you'll give me a little like, comment, or subscribe if this resonated, or even if it didn't, because you like me anyway. And I hope you'll come back and see me next time. And I wish you all the best whenever and wherever you are watching this. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be for you if you chose this little green duck. So cute. We'll put him right there. Okay, so for these readings, I'm going to use one deck to get your perception of the situation, see what the situation is, and any sort of maybe blockages that you're feeling right now about the situation. And then we're going to use a different tarot deck to see the reality, the truth of the situation. And then I'll use some oracle cards for some advice. And yeah, that's about it. Let's jump into it. And actually, I had to start over on your guys' reading, which maybe, okay, it might just be me. Well, okay, first of all, oh God, get your thoughts in order, Hannah, jeez. So for all of these, I'll draw cards, live, I'll shuffle live, but I have these cards here because I already drew them, and then something made me stop, to make sure. I have kind of like a limited amount of storage space on my camera, and so I had to go back and make sure I deleted the previous videos and like had enough storage space, and I feel like that might be a message for you guys as far as where you're at right now, because right before I was shuffling, as I was shuffling, I started feeling really stressed, really anxious, like my leg was like shaking up and down, you know, like when you're like taking a test and you're you're really anxious. But yeah, I just feel like you guys are really trying to focus on something, and this is kind of reiterated in your cards, so it's kind of extra confirmation, but you're going back and double checking. You're really worried about making sure you're doing things the right way, making sure everything is completed, that sort of thing. So let's see. Oop, that is the bottom. Okay, I'll go in order the way I drew them. Okay, Judgment, the Ace of Wands, the Chariot in reverse, the Ten of Wands, and Temperance. Okay, and yes, I am taking reversals for this reading. I don't often do that, but yeah, unless I am told to, I feel called to, so I definitely felt it was important for this one. So like I said, I think you guys are kind of feeling some pressure. Interestingly, we have the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Wands, so there is, or has been, kind of a long journey or process that is weighing heavily on you right now. With Judgment here to start off, I feel like that makes a lot of sense with the way I was feeling very anxious and stressed. I feel like that's kind of your energy right now, is like, it's almost like you're awaiting judgment or you're fearful of judgment. Some of the examples that came to mind were like, you know, you're waiting to hear back about a job, or you're preparing really thoroughly for a job interview. For some of you, I got the example of you're studying or waiting for results for a big test, like a really, really big, important test. Like you're waiting to hear back about getting into law school or med school, like something really massive that has taken a lot of energy and a lot of effort, especially with these Wands cards here, especially with the Ten of Wands. You know, there's a lot of heaviness to that card. You're perhaps feeling a little burnt out, maybe feeling, is it all gonna be worth it, you know? But with Judgment and the Ace of Wands, you know, it's a passion, it's a calling of yours. It's something that is deeply important to you, that you care about very strongly. I get the sense that whatever it is very quickly approaching, and it might literally be out of your control with the Chariot in reverse, um, or you could just feel very out of control. Again, there's a lot of fire energy here, and so just that overwhelming ambition, that drive, that need to achieve, is really coming through very strongly. Like I said, I started feeling very anxious. You know, I felt almost like adrenaline running through my body. I was shaking my hands and my legs, and so there's a lot going on within you. Even if, again, you're just maybe waiting for the results of something, you feel out of sorts. You feel out of control. And like I said, you're kind of wondering, is it all going to be worth it? You know, with the Chariot here, it's like, you know, there's a doubt here. There's a blockage here. Like, oh man, I'm not going to pass. I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to get the job. Because upright, you know, this is victory. It is success. It is clear direction and taking the reins. And, you know, I think you have done as much of that as you can, or again, you're kind of like that first message when I started of you're trying to tie up loose ends. You're trying to make sure all the pieces are in order, all your ducks are in a row. Silly, oh my gosh. But literally, like, you're combing through everything with a fine-tooth comb, and you know, you want to make sure that you're doing it right. And you know, and I even heard, like, do I even want this? Like, what if I get there and it's not what I expected? But truly, I do think right now this is something that's very important to you. I think it is a calling of sorts. It's something you're very passionate about, and it's something you've worked very hard for. So it's completely understandable to be anxious about it. And with the Ten of Wands, you know, going back to, like, this could be med school, this could be law school, like something big, like something important. You know, you're kind of weary of the responsibility that comes with that. You're wondering if you can handle it once it kind of manifests into reality again, if it happens for you, which you're a little weary on right now as well. I get the sense that this is something you've had to do and carry the burden of on your own. You know, this Ace is just, it's one spark, one flame. I mean, it's your light that you're following. And you know, here he is at the end of it all, carrying it all by himself. And that has become really overwhelming, especially with the Chariot. Things feel really out of balance right now as well. You may not be sure what to focus on right now with the Chariot in reverse and the Ten of Wands. There's a lot that you're juggling, a lot of responsibilities. You know, maybe you have a job or a family on top of whatever it is you're striving for. There's a lot of, you know, it's like you're spinning plates and you're just trying to keep it all up in the air, but you really don't know where to put your energy, which direction to follow. You can't see a clear way forward from where you're at right now. Things are very uncertain for you. Even with Temperance here, like, it's kind of asking, like, how do I balance all of this? How do I integrate all of this? How can I find moderation in all of this mess? You know, you want to find your center, you want to come back to yourself, you want to drop some of the burdens, but it's hard to, because you're just kind of waiting for this to be over. You're waiting for someone else to take on some of the burdens. You're waiting for clarity, you're waiting for answers or results of some kind. So if that resonates, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, unbalanced, a little frazzled, I feel like I've been talking really, really fast as well. So, yeah, if you're just trying to find some balance and, you know, you're waiting on something, but you're feeling a little stressed, you're feeling the weight of, you know, whatever is going on, then you have found your group. And let's see what's really going on. Let's see. What is the truth of this situation that pile 2 is dealing with? What clarity can we offer them in this overwhelming time? We have the Fool, okay. Ooh. We have Justice, the Ace of Swords. Ooh, clarity is coming, y'all. Thank goodness. Let's get a couple more for pile 2. What's the truth of their situation? The 8 of Stars. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And one more, please. Okay, let's see if I can fit both of these, because I am going to take these 2 that fell out together. It's the 6 of Stars and the 2 of Moons, or the 2 of Cups in traditional tarot. Okay, lovely. Okay. Ooh, everything's gonna be okay, y'all. Balance will be restored. Clarity is coming. It will be okay. Yeah, the Fool is just here to remind you, ask you to have faith, trust that things are gonna work out for you. Trust that you have the skills and the abilities to take on this new journey. And like I said, with Justice here, things are going to work out fairly. They're going to work out in your favor. Balance will be restored. There will be a sense of ease and clarity, again with the Ace of Swords here. Incoming communication as well. So again, I really get the sense that you guys are waiting to hear back from a school, a workplace, anything like that. Maybe you guys are waiting for like a promotion of sorts. But the reality is that things are gonna work out. Things will, like I said, come back into balance, and you'll have an opportunity for not just clarity, but an opportunity to feel validated in your intellect, in your ideas. And you know, once you get your response, once you get this communication, your mind will be a lot clearer. You will be thinking a lot clearer. You know, I just heard, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. So the stress, the anxiety will be cleared. And you know, like I said, you'll have a new opportunity for your ideas to shine. And again, the word that keeps coming to mind is being validated. And again, kind of having learning to have that faith in your intellect and your abilities just in general. You know, especially with the Eight of Stars here, that is, you know, more hard work. And I think that's just the reality of your situation, whatever it is you're waiting for results on, job, school, promotion, etc. It's gonna take some more hard work, but I mean, the Eight of Stars is you becoming like a master of your craft. It's you, again, really honing these ideas and skills and knowledge and making something very stable and sustainable and something that will result in a lot of abundance and fulfillment. You know, the Eight of Stars, it talks about hard work, but I think it's again with, you know, the Ace of Wands and Judgment, it's a calling, it's something you feel passionate about. And so I think you are, you know, once the results come back and you have a clearer direction of where you're headed, you're really going to enjoy the process of getting there, perhaps learning something new. And again, going back to this feeling of kind of validation, this Eight of Stars is you saying, oh yeah, I can do this. Like it's kind of this renewed sense of confidence and just, again, being able to really, like the Fool asks you to trust yourself. You know, I know maybe it might sound overwhelming to say your journey has really only just begun, but again, once you get answers, once this clarity comes through, you're going to feel a lot more reassured, and you're going to be very excited about this journey that you're going on. You know, like I said with Justice, like balance is being restored. So like I get the sense that there will be not just a mental reprieve, but, you know, a chance for you to kind of recalibrate all of the areas of your life. And so you will not feel so burdened by the work that's coming up. You'll be able to feel motivated, productive. You'll be able to, again, focus on the details. You know, like I said, I was like, I just need to double check everything, right? And you'll be able to do that without it coming from a place of insecurity, and rather it's coming from a place of wanting to do a job well done and just making sure it's up to your standards. And oh my gosh, I just looked up and saw the camera timer. It was on 1919, which first, I mean, that's cycles ending, new beginnings, ones and nines, but it's also the number of the sun in tarot. So things really will clear up. Things will be a lot lighter, a lot more enjoyable. There will be a sense of success and satisfaction, and you will know that this thing, this calling that is so important to you, that you're so passionate about, is a wise investment, and you're gonna know how to use the skills and knowledge you've gained thus far and really use those with precision. And you're gonna know how to invest your time and energy wisely. You know, back to that Temperance card, you're like, oh my god, I'll never find moderation again, like it's gonna be like this forever. No, you're gonna find it. You're gonna be able to work hard like you know you need to, but do it in a way that's sustainable for you, in a way that doesn't burn you out. And I also say that because we have the Six of Stars and the Two of Moons, or Pentacles and Cups here, and both of these cards talk about external support. And it's interesting that we have stars and cups here, because that tells me that you will not only get like material assistance, or practical assistance, but you will also get emotional support that you need as well. You know, like I said at the start, there is this sense of you've been doing so much and carrying so much by yourself for such a long time, and now, you know, you really don't have to. Like, um, you know, I think there maybe is this sense of, you know, hyper independence of like, this is my goal, I have to do it all on my own. And it's like, you don't have to. And so, you know, that is definitely a reality check for you. But this also gives me the sense that there is another burden that could be eased, or there are multiple other burdens that will be eased. With the Six of Stars specifically, maybe that's you're really worried about, you know, maybe you are trying to go for like med school or something, and you're like, oh my god, like how am I gonna pay for this? Like I'm gonna be in debt forever if I take out loans, and you get this really incredible scholarship. Or, you know, maybe you're worried about all the extra responsibilities that are coming with this new job or new promotion, but you're getting like a really good salary or a really good bonus. And so there's little bits of generosity here that are coming through that will also help you say, okay, you know, I don't have to do it all on my own, and the hard work is worth it, you know? Like, it really shows you that other people also value this hard work that you've put in. They see the hard work that you've put in, and they're not gonna let you struggle alone anymore. But we also have the Two of Moons here, which again gives me like the emotional support vibes as well. You know, maybe you're in a relationship and you're worried about if you get this big opportunity, if you achieve this goal, you're worried about how it's going to affect this relationship, and you're worried that you won't have enough time, or maybe your partner has to pick up, you know, some extra responsibilities too, because a lot of your energy is going into this. And the Two of Moons is here to reassure you that it's gonna be okay. Like this partner, perhaps this group of people, maybe like family, are going to be there for you, are going to help you through the emotional ups and downs of whatever this new journey is, because they want to see you succeed too. Like, and I think that's one of the most important things, like I said, is you feel like you have to do this all on your own, and you don't. You don't have to. And you're not the only one that wants this for you. They will help you find that harmony, find that balance, and like I said, support you through the emotional ups and downs of all of this. It's okay to vent. It's okay to ask for help. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. You know, venting about the challenges of this situation does not mean that it's not meant for you or you don't care about it. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think you care so deeply that, you know, things feel overwhelming because you want to succeed so badly. But know that people are here to support you in a multitude of ways, and you know, they will help you find balance. Balance is coming, clarity is coming, and yeah, things are gonna work out. Things are gonna work out in your favor. And like I said, that doesn't mean there's not more work to come, but you will feel a lot more confident in that work. But let's get some final advice for pile 2, please, Spirit. What does pile 2 need to know? Ah, I just saw 26 on the camera timer. 2 and 6. Balance, harmony, baby. It's coming. Don't worry. We have stretch. May you extend your reach. Okay. I immediately am like taking this literally. Please move your body. Please stretch. Please take good care of your health. I think the 8 of Stars is Sun in Virgo. It gives me Virgo energy at the very least. So take good care. Make sure you're taking care of like your physical self, please. But you know, in a more metaphorical sense, this is just reassurance and confirmation that your hard work will get you to amazing places. Your reach is going to be quite vast. The work you're doing is very important. Beauty. May you perceive nature's artistry afresh. Beautiful. Yeah, let yourself see the beauty in the process. Let yourself take a step back and enjoy the hard work that you've done. Appreciate the hard work that you've done. Recognize how far you've already come, and appreciate the beauty in what you've created and what you've done, because other people see it, you know. Other people see that you have and you are creating something truly magical and beautiful. Let's get one more, please, Spirit. Clear, may you see things as they are. That's funny, pile 1 got that too. So again, clarity is coming, just reassurance that clarity is coming. You will see things clearly. And yeah, you know, it might take getting those results, getting an answer. You know, it might take that external reassurance and confirmation, but you'll see it, and things will return to balance, and you'll see just again like how beautiful your hard work is. You'll see how valued your ideas and your creations are. You'll see how valued and important your intelligence is. Yeah, there's a lot of good things coming for you. Answers and truth will be illuminated. Space will clear out for you, mentally and physically, so that you can kind of feel refreshed and renewed again, like I said, for this new journey. But trust that things are gonna work out for you. Things will get easier, I promise. And you know, like I said, don't be afraid to ask for help. People want to support you. So pile 2, I think that's all the messages I have for you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this reading resonated. I hope something was helpful. If so, please give me a like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I hope I see you in the next video. Please take good care of yourself whenever and wherever you are watching this. And I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi pile 3, welcome to your reading. If you chose this little blue duck, this is going to be for you. And we are first going to look at one tarot deck and see your perspective on the situation. See maybe where there's some blockages, or yeah, just how you're feeling, how you're perceiving the situation. Maybe the question that you have about the situation. And I'm going to use another tarot deck to get the truth of the situation, the clarity, and then we'll finish off with a few oracle cards for advice. I'm gonna shuffle everything on camera, and I am taking reversals. So, pile 3, what is your perception of this situation? How is pile 3 understanding or perceiving the situation? The High Priestess. The Page of Wands in reverse. Whoa. The King of Cups. Let's get a couple more. Your gut, your intuition is telling you that something is off, and you're wondering whether or not to trust it. It could very well be about a relationship. Could be romantic or a friendship. What else can you tell me about this situation and how pile 3 is perceiving it currently? What are their current feelings about it? The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And one more, please, Spirit. Oh, the Five of Cups. Okay. Let me make sure everybody's on screen. Okay, wow. And just real quick, I want to see... Yeah, we've got the Eight of Cups on the back of the deck. Okay, so yeah, like I said, with the High Priestess coming out at the start, you're wondering if your intuition is correct. With the Eight of Cups, the Five of Cups, these two in reverse, one of the first thoughts I had, even before shuffling, was some of you might be worried that someone is cheating on you. You might be suspicious. Some of you might be worried that a friend is being dishonest or like talking shit behind your back. But there's some distrustful energy here. There is a concern about recklessness, about someone's emotional maturity, about their loyalty, and you're wondering, with the Five of Cups and then again the Eight of Cups on the back of the deck, you're wondering if, kind of like, if you should just like cut your losses and run, like, and just walk away. Some of you are really worried that, you know, there will be a loss, there will be grief, upset, and maybe for some of you it's not like quite that serious, but you know, it could also just be you're worried that a specific person in your life is maybe a little less mature, and maybe you've had kind of a period of growth spiritually, personally, and maybe you're just not on the same wavelength anymore, and you're wondering, you know, is it time to walk away? Am I gonna lose this person if I follow on the path that I'm going on? With the Page of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, there is a lot of immaturity here. there's definitely like some stubbornness with the Knight of Pentacles, but there's also this sense that maybe it's like you're afraid that this person isn't willing to work as hard as you, and maybe you've already been experiencing or feeling like they're not putting in the same effort as you. Because then on the flip side, we've got like some really mature energy here with the King of Cups and the High Priestess. These are very wise energies, and they're very intuitive, but their intuition and their wisdom comes from experience. And so I feel like you're in this state of trying to discern whether or not, like I said, your intuition is correct, or if those past wounds are just manifesting in a new way, and the fears are kind of coming back up because maybe, like I said, something has changed within this dynamic, and you're worried about not being on the same page anymore, or like I said, you're worried about deception, dishonesty, kind of a sneaky behavior. And you know, this Page of Wands in reverse also talks about someone who gets bored easily. And like I said, the Knight of Pentacles is probably somebody who's stubborn, somebody who isn't loyal or dedicated or willing to put in the work that's necessary. Page of Wand in reverse just gives me like the vibe of somebody who's really careless, especially with the people in their lives. I'm really noticing, like, I mean, it is alternating, but the King of Cups is right in between these two reversed cards, and it almost gives me the vibe of like someone portraying themselves as the King of Cups. It's the word that's coming to mind is narcissist. Not diagnosing anybody, but if that resonates, that's up to you. But I mean, it's like, you know, these two energies are flanking this King of Cups, and it's somebody who purports to be emotionally intelligent and very self-aware and very compassionate, and the truth is, like, they're not what they seem to be. Or again, at least that's how you're perceiving it right now. I don't know if that's the exact truth. We'll get into that momentarily. But again, that's how you're seeing it. And with this High Priestess, again, like, you are very intuitive. I think this is you more than this King of Cups, because like I said, this middle energy gives me, it's somebody else's energy, I feel. And so you, as this High Priestess, get this little inkling in your brain, this little nagging feeling that won't go away, that says this person is not what they seem. And maybe it's not even like somebody you're especially close to. You know, like I said, maybe for some of you it's, is my partner cheating, or is my friend, you know, being nasty behind my back? Is this like a fake friend? But for some of you, this might just be like a person or a situation that's come up in your environment, in your friend group, that is, like I said, a new energy that you just don't get good vibes from. You are distrustful of this person or this energy, and you know, like I said, you're kind of wondering, is it worth saying something? Is it worth investigating more? Or am I gonna lose more than I bargained for? What if I'm wrong and I cause unnecessary pain to myself or others? Or the flip side of that, could be both, where like you're fearful that you're right. You're like, oh God, what if I'm right? You know, what does that mean? What will that change? What will I lose, and what will I have left if I am right? Oh dang, these so far these readings have been juicy, you guys. But yes, if this is resonating, if you're a little suspicious of somebody or something, if you've kind of had this like nagging feeling, this is your pile. So let's get into what's actually going on. What is the reality, the truth of this situation? Is it worth investigating, you know? Let's take a look. What is the truth of pile 2's, that one came out first, or pile 3, sorry, situation? Okay, hey Tower. Oh boy, wow, they're flying out. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's get one more. I'm gonna be honest, y'all, this was not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is great. I know that tower is a little bit scary, but it's okay. We're gonna talk about it. Okay, so the tower, the Ace of Stars, 4 of Wands, the 2 of Wands, and the 2 of Moons, or cups in traditional tarot. Okay, I just heard you might be right, but it's not exactly what you think it is. Like, you might be right in some way that somebody's like hiding something from you, but like I said, this isn't quite what I expected, and I don't know what I expected, but you know, you get this sense you're a little suspicious of somebody, but it's not what you thought it was going to be. Like the reveal is not perhaps as dramatic, or you were wrong in some areas and maybe right in others, or you know, it doesn't play out the way you expected. Oh, that's really interesting, because right off the bat, I'll tell you, with this tower, things are gonna break down in some way or another. And the tower often talks about, it gives like divine intervention sort of vibes. So it's almost like I was talking about, you're wondering if you should say something, if you should investigate, if you should cut your losses and run, when in reality, I think time will reveal any of these issues. You know, it will reveal the truth. Spirit's gonna come in and make the truth known. And you know, there is this feeling of, yeah, I was right, but you know, it didn't go the way I expected. And I mean that in a positive way, because like, look at the rest of the cards we have. Ace of Stars, 4 of Wands, 2 of Wands, and the 2 of Moons. Like, these are all very, very positive cards. Because, you know, I love the Tower and the Ace of Stars coming out together, because what that tells me is this breakdown is happening. This reveal is, you know, something is being illuminated in order to tear down what wasn't solid, so you can build something solid. So you can build something not just, you know, with a strong foundation, but something that will have longevity, sustainability, and something that really reflects your values, something you find meaning and worthiness in. There will be a new opportunity for growth and security and stability. It's almost like whatever happens, you know, this Tower moment is not actually as painful or scary as you expected. Like, like I'm just, so for example, if you're worried your partner's cheating on you and, you know, maybe you've been feeling distant for a while and you find out you're right, or you decide to break it off, whatever. This is just an example, it doesn't have to resonate. But, you know, it's like a feeling of liberation. It's this feeling of like, oh, that person didn't deserve me. Like, it's giving bad bitch energy, genuinely. Which, yeah, it's, like I said, it doesn't unfold the way you expected it to. It doesn't impact you the way that you're afraid of. It's like when you cut away all the dead weight and things just like start happening for you. Like, it's like, oh, that person or that thing was holding me back. Like, that's what it was. And so you let everything kind of crumble and fall apart, and then all of a sudden you get a new job, and it pays really well, or, you know, you get approved for like a new apartment, you get to travel, and, you know, you have all these great opportunities coming for you, and you're like, oh, like I didn't know how good things could get. Or, yeah, like with the Ace of Stars, all three of these cards really, I mean, all of these cards, it's like you have this sneaking suspicion that you're gonna get fired, right? Like, that's what you're suspicious of. And then it happens, but you're okay. You get the opportunity to start your own business, and it takes off, and you have success with it, and you have time to plan and work on it. Maybe it allows you to meet new people and start new partnerships. But again, that's just another example. Like, yeah, like I keep saying, this Tower moment is not what you expect at all. So, I mean, the truth is that you might be right. Something might be going on, something might have to fall away, something might be illuminated or revealed. Again, maybe you don't have to do anything, and spirit is going to come in and clear that blockage for you, and all of these new opportunities are going to open up. And so, yeah, I mean, something might have to end for this new beginning to come in, but it's again a new beginning that will allow you stability and a chance for you to focus on what you find valuable. It'll give you an opportunity to focus on community, family, friends that support you and you support, and that, you know, those relationships that are meaningful to you, that again, maybe you were afraid of losing, but, you know, the real ones will stick it out with you. I mean, it's like I keep going back to these like relationship examples, so I'm sorry, but it's like, because the Four of Wands is a card of celebration, it's a card of homecoming, right? And so it's like, if you get divorced, for whatever reason, you know, divorce happens, it's finalized, it's a mess, right? But then, like, you know, you have this freedom, and the Four of Wands comes along, and like your friends will like throw you, you know, the opposite of, well, I guess it would be a bachelorette party or bachelor party, you know, like it's just this celebration of this new chapter. And you know, I think people are supporting you, they're happy for you, which again is like, it feels like such a strange thing to say, because like your energy at the start is so worried. Like, you're so worried about it right now. And, you know, very suspicious, very fearful. But, you know, like I keep saying, it's not gonna turn out like you expect. Like, there's actually going to be so much relief when you find out the truth, when this truth comes to light. Because then we have like the Two of Wands and the Two of Moons here. So, you know, balance is being restored in some way. Literally 22 on the camera timer as I said that. And like, to be clear, the Tower, like I said, it could be messy. It could be a little rough, a little emotional, but I feel like you're going to move through it quicker than you expect. And then you'll have all this time and energy and opportunity to like plan for things that you enjoy, to spend time with people you enjoy, and to meet new people that you really truly connect with. You know, this Two of Wands is you being willing to take on this new adventure, to plan a future that really resonates with you and that excites you. You know, wands are fire energy, they're passion, they're, yeah, excitement. So once you allow yourself to move through this, to take hold of these new opportunities, I mean, really, the Two of Wands is like the world is your oyster kind of card, you know? And there are so many different adventures and avenues that you could choose. And yeah, that might feel a little overwhelming at first, but it's like that anxious, excited feeling. Like, maybe I'm just a nerd, but like, did anybody else, like, you know, you're lying in bed before the first day of school and you're like really excited. You're really excited. You're a little nervous, but it's mostly like excitement nerves. And that's the feeling I get of like, oh man, like, where do I go from here? And Spirit's like, you can literally go anywhere. Like, you can literally do anything. And oh my god, I got chills when I said that. Like, yeah, you can do anything. You have this power in your hands, and you know, this is as messy as it is, as challenging as that might be. This is you taking your power back. This is you, again, like, seeing the value in yourself and seeing the value in the people that support you and that love you. You know, the Two of Moons here, that's soul family, that's soulmates. You know, it's people who truly deeply understand you and support you and love you. You know, the Two of Wands can literally talk about moving locations. And so, you know, maybe it's you have this desire one day, or you're like, okay, yeah, I can go anywhere, I can do anything, and you pick up and move to a new city or a new country even. And this is, you know, this will lead you to new meaningful relationships as well. And again, that doesn't have to be the case for all of you. That's just an example. But, you know, these new opportunities will lead you to some very important, very impactful relationships that are mutually deeply loving. And like I said, it's like, you're like, oh, I kind of didn't know it could get this good, you know? And that's what this Two of Moons is, this Ace of Stars, this Four of Wands, like there's stability and balance coming in for you, and harmony and real love, real loyalty, you know, no more of that immature BS that you were worried about, no more of that, you know, deception or disloyalty or stubbornness, you know, people not really considering other people. You know, these are experiences and people and places that are fulfilling and that are divine. You know, this is spirit connecting you with the right people. And like I said, this tower is spirit stepping in and, you know, tearing down things that aren't stable so you can find these things and these people that are. And like, I feel like my energy, or your energy that I'm reading, it's shifted through this reading. Like, I feel a lot more alert. I feel a lot more excited. I feel like, yeah, I feel like I could take on the world. Like, bring it on. Like, let's see what's next. But yeah, it's so interesting. All of these readings have been so interesting. This might be one of my favorite readings I've ever done, this topic, so it's been really fascinating. But things will come to light, but the aftermath will not be scary. The aftermath will not be as challenging as you think it will be. And like I said, I don't even know if you have to take any action about, you know, these suspicions. I think Spirit's gonna come in and do its thing, and you just kind of, you know, get to reap the rewards of being right in a way. And again, like I said, maybe you're right in a way, but not in the way you thought or in the way you expected. Very interesting. But let's finish off with some advice, please, Spirit. What advice do you have for pile 3 in this situation? Space. May your heart and scope expand. Yep. Yeah. We're clearing out all of this BS, all of this stuff that's tying you down, so you can have space, so you can expand your heart and your mind and spread your wings. I heard. Yeah, that's interesting. What else, Spirit? Any other advice for pile 3 in this situation? I also heard, like, it's okay for you to take up space. I think that's a reminder that some of you need to hear. You're allowed to take up space. Take it up. Like I said, this is bad bitch energy. This is you taking your power back in a lot of ways. It's liberation. Okay. We also have release. May you lay down your burdens, and magic. May you flow with the divine. Ah, beautiful. Yeah, again, this release card is making me think that, like, I mean, easier said than done. Don't worry about it. But, like, release this. Let go and let God. I think I said that last pile too, but that was entirely different. But release this. This is not your burden. Spirit's gonna take care of it for you. And that might be scary, but you know, you've got to surrender to the process of what's happening. You've got to surrender to the space that you're being offered, and just release the feeling of responsibility toward this, because you don't have to do anything. You don't. And even this magic card says, you know, may you flow with the divine. Just flow, you know, surrender, and know that you are magic. Know that you are powerful. Know that, you know, you have the power. You will have the opportunities, and you have the power to do anything, go anywhere, be anyone. And that is your divine magic. Your ability to transmute and transform and go through these cycles and come out the other side even stronger is so powerful. It's your magic, and it's beautiful. And I think that's all the messages I have for you, pile 3. I hope that was helpful. I hope something resonated with you. If it did, please give me a like, comment, subscribe. I so appreciate it. And I so appreciate you letting me read for you and you being here. And I hope I'll see you in other videos. Please feel free to check out my other videos. And yeah, I hope you take good care of yourself wherever and whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, pile 4. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this little white opaque duck, this reading is going to be for you. And so we're going to look at a specific situation on your mind and how you're perceiving it, how you're currently feeling about it. And then we will look at the truth of the situation, get some clarity. I will be using 2 separate tarot decks for this. And then we'll also get some oracle cards for advice. Full disclosure, I tried to do this reading last night. So I have been shuffling live on camera, but I had so many problems. It was really interesting. It was a combination of camera issues as well as I had a lot of trouble articulating my thoughts. At first it was really hard to get a read on what the situation even was. And so your perception of this is basically you don't want to perceive it at all. Like, it's a very avoidant, very elusive energy. But I had to come back to it. And I was filming last night, like later at night, which is not something I typically do. So that was a message that came forward as well of, oh, you're doing pretty well, like distracting yourself, avoiding this, not thinking about it. But at night, it is much harder to avoid. It's definitely something that creeps into your mind, like right before you go to sleep, and you're, you know, contemplating it. And yeah, there's a lot of big feelings with this one. And for some reason, yesterday when I was like preparing all the readings, I looked at this little duck, and for some reason I was like, oh, this reading's gonna be a doozy. Like, I just knew it was gonna be a big message. So that seems to be the case. So let me just show you the cards first and look at, like, again, your perception, your feelings on this, and then I'll share, you know, my interpretation and some things that I was feeling last night as well. So we have the High Priestess, the 5 of Wands in reverse. I am taking reversals. The Hierophant in reverse, the 4 of Cups in reverse, and the 6 of Pentacles. So one of the first things I want to talk about is, and I feel like it's already even happening right now, I don't know what it is about this reading where I feel like I set everything up to like be in frame and then it's not. And this happened to me last night as well, where it just felt like things were shifting, and I was like, I don't think there's like a literal spirit here moving my crystals and cards around, but you never know. But the point being, so there's 2 points to that. Of one, my like perception of the camera and the layout was just distorted. Like it was getting distorted to the point where like I couldn't focus because I felt like I had to keep resetting. And so that is definitely your energy. It's, you know, like I said, you're feeling very avoidant. You're kind of trying to distract yourself from this to the point where I think, you know, this is your perception, but I do think your perception is distorted. I think I said this last night when I tried to record. I think if you were to confront this and actually face this head on, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge these desires, acknowledge these thoughts that you have, then you would actually see things a lot more clearly and it wouldn't feel so confusing. It wouldn't feel so muddled. The other point about that too is the fact that I kind of, you know, I joked. I was like, maybe there's another presence here screwing with me a little bit. But this is definitely about a specific person, a specific relationship. And there is a lot of, if you look at the High Priestess here, there's a lot of mirroring. Someone is pulling on your energy and you can feel it. And I feel like that's where some of the confusion, the distortion comes in, because you're like, am I crazy? Like, is this really happening? And so it's like both of your energies are present here. Like I said, I think there's a lot of mirroring. Once we get into the second tarot deck, we'll confirm that a little bit more. But I do think both of you are feeling and perceiving or avoiding your perception very similarly. You're in very similar energies. But this High Priestess tells me that, you know, you do feel this. You feel this pulling on your energy. You feel like this is kind of an important or, you know, spiritual connection that you can't quite make sense of, because it's just like lingering. I do think that this is someone from your past, and I think it's somebody you had some sort of falling out with. I feel like it's somebody who hurt you, maybe you hurt them. It was messy. It was messy. And still, like, there is this feeling of connection, though. I feel like this is probably somebody you haven't talked to in a while, but, you know, the Five of Wands in reverse talks about reconciliation. But, you know, we have the Hierophant and the Four of Cups over here in reverse, where the Hierophant is very stubborn. You know, it's like you and I want to say neither one of you, like, again, I feel like both your energies are very present here. Neither one of you wants to like break the wall of silence first. But with the Four of Cups here, you know, it's not quite the nostalgia of the Six of Cups, but there is like a sadness to it. There's a melancholy. There's this feeling of missing this connection, or at least missing the connection that you had before all of this fallout. And with the two fives here, the Hierophant is number 5, and we have the Five of Wands. It makes me think that you know that something needs to change, but you don't really know how to move on from this. Like I said, I think it's just still kind of lingering, and you feel like there's a reason for these thoughts and feelings. You feel like there's still some sort of connection. You may even have dreams about this person, or you could be like communicating with this person in your dreams. But even still, like, I'm probably cutting all of my long pauses out, but like I'm pausing still to like gather my thoughts and form coherent sentences, because yeah, you don't know what to do with this energy. And you know, it's like you want to know the truth, but you also don't want to know the truth. Like, you want clarity or closure, but you also don't. Like, there's a lot of push-pull energy just within you, to the point where, again, you're just like, I'm just not gonna think about it. Like, I'm not gonna deal with it. You know, like I said, there is kind of a stubbornness with the Hierophant. Neither one of you kind of wants to make contact first. You don't want to make contact first if that's something that you're, you know, kind of secretly desiring. But again, with the Six of Pentacles here on the end, like, it makes me wonder, like, you're in this headspace of like, what would I even say? Like, how would I even like practically, realistically go about this? Because like I said, there's a lot of complex emotions here. There's a lot going on. It was kind of messy. And with the Hierophant in reverse, like, there's not only this stubbornness, but I feel like this past conflict, this past falling out, really kind of shook your sense of self. You know, the phrase like crisis of faith is coming to mind. Like, it was a big deal, and I think it still is a little bit of a big deal for you, because I think it's taken a lot of work and a lot of support from others to feel better about this, to heal from it. Y'all, it's happening again. Man, I don't know what it is about this layout, this perception of this distorted perception, but I don't know, maybe this other person is watching too, and they're like, no, I don't want this. I don't know. There's some energy that is very reluctant, very hesitant to have this message out in the world. But anyway, I also get from the Six of Pentacles, especially with all this reversed energy coming before it, the sense that you're worried that if communication does happen, you know, if the two of you can come together and you do decide to reconcile and you try to heal things together, like I said, you're like, what would that even look like? What would I even say? But the Six of Pentacles also gives me the energy of like, am I going to be putting in more than I get back? And maybe that was part of the situation before, where things, energies, effort, feelings were not reciprocated. And that might be a big part of why you're like heavily doubting this intuitive pull. But I mean, someone is pulling on your energy. Like, that's just a fact. Whether or not that means they want to communicate, whether or not that means they want to reconcile, whether or not that means you will have some sort of interaction with them in the future. I don't know. That is up to you and this person and potentially divine intervention, but you have free will. And so, like I said, if you can confront these feelings, acknowledge that you're feeling this pull, acknowledge that, yeah, maybe you do miss this person a little, while still acknowledging the fact that there is some pain, there is a wound still there. If you can face it head on, then you will find some good insight, some good clarity. The confusion will clear up, and you'll be able to figure out which direction you want to go, what action you want to take, or what action you don't want to take. And even as like I'm sitting here, I'm like, I think I'm gonna move on to like the clarity and the truth of this situation in just a moment. But even having that thought, I was like, there's so much more to this situation. Like, there's so much left unsaid. So again, I think it's gonna take a lot of introspection on your part, and on their part, but you can only control you. So, do with that what you will. But anyway, if this makes sense to you, if this is resonating with you, if this sounds like a situation that you have been dealing with, that's been on your mind, that's bringing up a lot of feelings, then this is your reading. And we're gonna get into the clarity portion. And like I said, I shuffled these cards last night. It's still maybe not as clear as one would hope, but there is some good insight, I think. So we have the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Stars, the Three of Wands, the Moon, and the Nine of Stars. Okay, and first, another message from last night. When I was shuffling these cards, these first three took a little while to come out. Things were moving kind of slow, and we have the Knight of Stars here, which is the slowest moving knight in the deck. The Nine of Wands is kind of a weary, slow moving energy as well, but there is still that resilience, there is still that drive. But these took a while to come out, and then all of a sudden there was like a massive explosion of cards, and I was like, oh, that's somebody just like getting something off their chest. Like, that's somebody just word vomiting. Like, it all just comes out at once. All of these things happen at once. And so if you feel like you would like to potentially make progress with this person, just know that things might move a little slowly at first, but it doesn't mean they're not happening. It doesn't mean they're stalled, because things will happen, and truths will be revealed. We have the Moon here. Things are being illuminated for sure. All of that like stuff, all of those feelings bubbling underneath the surface in your subconscious, in their subconscious, are being brought to the surface, and they're a little intense. Like I said, there's a lot of emotions here. So yeah, it could very well be intense. But anyway, the Nine of Wands gives me the feeling of Like I said, there's that resilience, that drive. And again, it's that feeling, that question of, should I push through? Should I push through and see what comes of this situation, see what comes of communication, or should I cut things loose and, you know, allow myself to rest, to feel some relief? And again, either one of those options is fine. It's up to you, which I know is not the most satisfying answer to hear. It's not exactly the clarity you were seeking, I'm sure, but really this is in your hands. And I mean, we've got like someone reaching for the stars here. We've got 2 9s here as well. So and the moon, number 18, also adds up to 9. So there is this sense of closure, of a cycle ending, and whether or not that actually involves the other person is, again, up to you. I mean, the 9 of Stars is a very independent, very self-sufficient energy. The Knight of Stars is a very dedicated, hardworking individual. They're very steadfast in knowing that they can achieve their goals, they can be successful, they can move on, move forward, and they can do so without the help of someone else. However, it's also like a very loyal energy as well. And so maybe there's still some lingering feelings of loyalty, like despite the hardships that have come with this relationship, that have come with the situation, there's this lingering sense of loyalty. And that might be part of, what card was it? The High Priestess. That might be part of why this connection still feels so strongly, is just your own feelings of, this person was once important to me, and I feel like I would bring them more pain, I would wrong them even further if I allowed myself to let go of their energy. And you know, with the moon here, there is that illusion, kind of fantasy, you know, it's Pisces, it's Cancer energy, it's very dreamy. And so there is this kind of energy as well of holding on to that fantasy, that things can be fixed. You will reconcile. This person will be in your life again. And again, that's not a bad thing. If that's something that you actually want and you feel comfortable taking action on, again, that's up to you. But you have to figure out what you actually want, right? Like this 9 of Wands, I was like, you can rest, you can do like a cord cutting ritual, you can let it go, you can bow out gracefully, or you can actively work toward this manifestation. But you have to get clear on what you actually want from this situation. I will also say with the Knight of Stars and the 3 of Wands, the 3 of Wands specifically, you could live at a distance from this person, and there's feelings of like not wanting to text about it. There's feelings of not wanting to just like send a DM, you know. There is this very grounded, practical, like, no, I want to actually be in each other's presence physically and talk about it. And so again, it's like with the 6 of Pentacles, there's this feeling of like, what would I actually say, you know? As well as with the Knight of Stars, the 3 of Wands, it's like, okay, how can I realistically even make this happen? What are the logistics of traveling to one another or having a conversation in person? And again, with the Knight of Stars and the Nine of Stars, those energies are determined to succeed. So again, if that's something that you actually truly really want, then you're able to make it happen. But if that's not what you want, once you acknowledge those actual feelings and desires, then, the Nine of Stars, the Three of Wands, you can clear away these illusions. You can cut away this connection and focus on yourself. This Nine of Stars is also about freedom, liberation. Like I said, self-sufficiency and kind of self-regulating even. And so it's an opportunity for you to focus on other manifestations and choose a new way forward without this connection or situation kind of looming over your head. But again, I'm going to keep saying it. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. You gotta figure out how you want to move forward and what you actually want from this situation or this person. Do you want to reconcile? Do you want closure? Is there, the Three of Wands talks about like an unfinished journey. Is there unfinished business? Is there, things left unsaid, like I said earlier, that need to just be talked about and addressed, and you can both move on independently but with more peace. And yeah, for some of you, it's this person making movement toward you with the Knight of Stars, the Three of Wands. And so, the logistical part of getting together is solved, but then you're really confronted with, what now? What do I say now? What do I want now? And the moon it goes in cycles, right? And so I do again get the sense that cycles are closing out, with the 2 nines here. Again, that's the end of a cycle, a new beginning. And even if this person does come back, even if you have an interaction with this person, you've done a lot of hard work to get where you are now. You've done a lot of healing. And what I will say is, regardless of what you want from this situation, you don't need this person. That's just a fact. But again, it's up to you on whether or not you want to have a conversation. It's up to you on whether or not you want to reconcile. It's up to you to decide and discern whether or not you can trust this person again. And I actually want to look. Okay, yeah, we have the Seven of Swords on the back of the deck in reverse. So this is truths being revealed. It is things coming to light. It is an honest conversation. So I do think things have changed. You have changed. This person has changed. I think if they reach out, if you reach out, you're both kind of coming correct, so to speak. I think you're both done with the bullshit. You're done with these illusions. You want to close out the cycle, whatever that looks like in the end. And I will also say, regardless of the outcome, regardless of what you decide to do or not do, it's okay to miss somebody and not welcome them back into your life. It's okay to think about them or dream about them sometimes. It's okay to still feel, a sense of loyalty, or rather just like a sense of compassion for them on just like a human to human level. That's okay. having those thoughts and feelings doesn't necessarily mean that this person is meant to be in your life. It just means that you care about them on some level and you have empathy, and that's beautiful. And so don't let those feelings hold you back or convince you that things are meant to be a certain way, because you know your situation best. But let's finally get into some advice. Oh boy, I feel like I could just keep going, but this I think is going to be the longest pile out of all of them. And what's so interesting again is like I said, I was really feeling the confusion, the conflict, the anxiety, and the other piles, the messages were flowing, like it came so easily. And this one is a lot harder. It's a lot more of a, like I said, complex situation. And so, you know, if you're dealing with that, please know that I feel for you. I love you. Like I said, you know you and your situation best. And that doesn't mean that it's easy to deal with or it's easy to make a choice, but I have faith in you that you will make the choice that's best for you. But yeah, gosh, everything was flowing, and then I got here and I was like, whoa, there's a lot left unsaid, there's a lot to say, and yet I don't know what to say. Like, everything is just so muddled. Everything is just, it's hard to gather my thoughts and form coherent sentences. So yeah, again, if that's your energy, I feel for you. This is not easy, but let's see if we can get some advice to help ease it a little bit. So Spirit, what advice, what final messages and guidance do you have for pile 4, please? Okay, we have persist. May your ripples build the swell. That's giving 9 of Wands energy. And again, take this how it resonates. You can persist in your own individual healing, moving on independently, closing out the cycle, or you can persist in this connection and pursuing this potential communication, reconciliation. Let's get a couple more, please, for pile 4, Spirit. We also have powerful. May you be as potent as the ocean. Beautiful. Again, another reminder that, you know, you're in control of a good bit of this situation. Not all of it, you know, you can't control the other person, but own your power. Own your magic. You have the power to create change. And like I said, I think things have already changed quite a bit since the catalyst, since this original situation has occurred. And so again, it's about focusing your power and where and how you want to use that energy, and just knowing that you can change things for the better, again, with or without this person. Let's get one more, please, Spirit. Allow. May you soften into what is. So yeah, I think this is just about allowing yourself to acknowledge where you're at with this situation. Acknowledge, like I said, the connection that you still feel, the pull on your energy that you still feel. Allow yourself to go inward and again figure out what it is that you actually want and need from this situation. You're trying to distract, you're trying to avoid, you're trying to push against the current, fight the waves, and Spirit just needs you to surrender and allow what will be to be, because that's when clarity will come through, when you stop fighting against these thoughts and feelings that you're having. And actually, I took a peek in the guidebook. I love the mantra for this card. It says, I make space for the whole experience. And I think that's what you're being called to do, is just to soften, to allow, to make space for everything that has happened, everything that is still happening, and to see the whole experience and yourself and this connection from a bigger perspective, from a clearer perspective. Because until you're able to do that, this person's energy, whether you want it there or not, will continue to latch onto you. You will continue to kind of feel this Nine of Wands energy of weariness and confusion and uncertainty. So, boy oh boy, pile 4, what a message. The letter P might be significant, could be your name, their name, just because we have 2 of them present, A as well, but 2 P's make me think that maybe somebody's name starts with that, or maybe that's like the first letter of a city or state that you guys live in. But anyway, I think that's all the messages I have for you. Like I said, I still feel like there's so much more to unpack. There's a lot left unsaid, but that is, that's for you to work through, as difficult as it might be. Like I said, I believe in you. I have faith that you can do it, but pile 4, that's where I'm gonna leave you. I hope this was helpful. I hope I made even a little bit of sense. I hope something resonated, but if it did, please give me a like, a comment, subscribe. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I hope I will see you in the next video, and I hope you take such good care of yourself wherever and whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.